Emily Dickinson once said, "In this short life that only lasts an hour, how much, how little is within our power?" I think this quote resonates with a lot of people, and rightfully so. In this tumultuous life, how much do we really have control over? But today I want to talk about why it's so important to take control of your life. Now, a disclaimer that goes with this quote: yes, we cannot control everything in our lives. And I know that. There are events, circumstances, relationships, everything happens, and some things are just completely outside of our control. But I'm here to talk about taking control in the sense that you are being accountable and you're holding responsibility for the things that you can control, and why this is so important in your life. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Why is it so important to take control of your life, and how do you do this? Why am I credible to speak about this topic? Is it just that I have this life that's so in control and every part of my life is perfectly managed? Not at all. I'm a work in progress, and while I am seeking to implement some of these strategies, I'm still far from perfect. However, I have done considerable research on this topic. This has been a subject area of interest to me before this semester even. I've given speeches on this topic. I've read books both from a philosophical and practical standpoint on this topic and done so much research on it. And it's something that I really hold close to me and that I really feel that I'm passionate about. And that is why I'm credible to speak on it today. My outline for today is pretty simple because I really want to take time to dive into each of the points, but I'm just going to look at why we should take control for our lives, how we can do this, and what will happen after we do this. And keep in mind, because this is a business and professional communications class, throughout this presentation, I want to examine it from the lens of that. So starting off with why. Why is it so important to take control of our lives? Well, our lives are short, and this is something that people don't really want to talk about, and it can be scary for a lot of people, but we only have a limited time. And that applies to life in a general scope, but it also applies to the career you're in or the people you're with. We only have limited time for life as a whole and the subsets within life. So it's vital that we use this time to the best of our ability, and we do that by taking control of our life. We can't just be passive throughout our lives. We can't let life just constantly happen to us. Here are some questions to help you see if you're currently in control of your own life. Do you lack a feeling of opportunity? Are you quick to blame others or have a victim mentality? Are you accountable? We only have one life to live. It's important that you break free from this negative cycle. That if you're dealing with some of these things, you take the uncomfortable step forward and you say, I'm going to take control, I'm going to reach my goals, and I'm not just going to let life happen to me. I'm not going to wake up one day and say, I wasted my life by just letting things happen to me and by not taking opportunities and taking control. So with that being said, I want to get into how you can do this. And these come from Tony Robbins, who's spoken a lot on this subject. First of all, recognize your individuality. I talked about this a little bit with SMART goals, but your life's not going to look the exact same as others. And when you take control of your life, you have to recognize that. You have unique goals and circumstances and operate within that framework. But set goals. Go back and look at some of the SMART goals techniques we introduced. These are the goals that matter to you. And in order to accomplish those goals, you're going to have to take control of your life. Have gratitude. The very fact that you have the opportunity to take control of your life is a huge blessing. That you get to live in a place or a circumstance that you have that freedom, it's huge. So have gratitude for that and recognize it as a gift that you can do this. Work on practical skills such as time management and planning. But one thing that I really want to harp on at this point is accountability is so vital. And according to an article in my research, that we as human beings, we don't want to take accountability. And you can think of this in your own life, the many ways you don't take accountability, whether it be at work, at school, or at home. Often you'll hear people say things like, well, I was too tired, or I'm too busy. They'll blame situation, environment, circumstances, people, etc. And rightfully, there are some times when these things get in your way. If I get in a wreck on my way to work, that's an event that could be outside of my control that just happened to me. However, if we are constantly blaming others for things or situations and circumstances, then that's not going to move us forward. Again, you don't want your life to be stagnant. And if you're stuck in that place of blaming others and never taking any accountability, that's going to be so detrimental. When we take accountability, when we say, I know who I am as a person, I've self-reflected on who I am as a person, I know I've made mistakes in the past, but I'm owning up to those mistakes and moving forward, recognizing both my goals, my strengths, and my weaknesses, we can really move forward and take control of our lives. So lastly, if you take control of your life, what are the benefits you're going to see afterwards? Now, I want to look at this from a specifically professional lens and talk about that, since that is sort of the subject of our course. So first of all, you're moving forward with your goals. And this helps within any career you're going to be in. You're going to have certain goals, whether you set them for yourselves or the employer has set them for you, and you're going to want to move towards those goals. And by taking control, it allows you to move towards those goals because you're being intentional with your time. You're being intentional with your planning. You're holding yourself accountable. And when you do these, the second benefit you're going to see is most likely you're going to advance, especially if you're in a type of hierarchical company, I guess. You're going to see advancement because you are taking accountability, because you are being intentional, because you're doing good work and you're taking control of not only your life, but your work within your life. You'll have a better work-life balance. If you're taking this control of your life in your personal life, in your professional life, in your gym life, in your academic life, whatever you're taking control in, you just have better balance. Because you know you don't have time for anything. You know that time is fleeting. So the time you do have, you work really carefully to make sure that you're getting the most of it, to be intentional, and that leads to a better balance between those fields. Overall happiness. When you are doing everything you can to be intentional and to work towards your goals in a professional setting, that's gonna make you so much happier. You're not just going in, clocking in, and as Dr. Bragg likes to say it, monkey dance. No, you're actually taking in what you need to be doing and being intentional about it, and not just checking off boxes, but working towards it and taking control of your life and thinking about, how is this helping me? How is this helping the company? How is this actually going where I want it to in terms of goal setting? So with that being said, I want to conclude today by saying that, where do you want to see yourself in 10 years? Asking you that simple question. 10 years from now, do you want to be exactly the same as you are? Do you want to be worse off, or do you want to be better off? Because if you don't take steps towards controlling your life, if you don't take steps towards getting better in whatever area of life you want to get better in, 10 years from now, you're going to be exactly the same as you are or worse. And the time is going to pass anyway. 10 years is going to pass whether you do nothing. 10 years is going to pass whether you start implementing these steps. So I encourage you to take control of your life. We've looked at why is it important. We've looked at some of those questions that I asked you and how you have to break free from the negative cycle. We've looked at how you take control of your life and how important accountability is. And lastly, we looked at the benefits afterwards. So in 10 years, do you really want to be the exact same person? Or do you want to work towards the goals that you've set for yourself? I'll end today with the Dickinson quote once more. In this short life that only lasts an hour, how little is within our power. We can't control everything in life, but what we can control, we should. We should control it to set towards our own goals, to help ourselves and others, and to lead to an overall better and more fulfilling life.